Hey there, Earth Science fans. So here's a photo of Pluto. Now, I remember in 2006, the day that Pluto was demoted from a planet to a dwarf planet. I was in high school and I was devastated because I grew up learning all the 9 planets and Pluto was definitely one of them. But why was Pluto demoted from a planet in 2006? Basically, scientists wanted planets to be a special designation for really large solar system objects that pulled all the nearby rocks into its orbit. And as it turns out, Pluto doesn't really fit that definition. Pluto is a part of a lot of objects of all the same size called the Kuiper Belt. And so if we included Pluto as a planet, we'd have to include hundreds of other rocks of similar size as planets. So we demoted Pluto to dwarf planets. We called all the other things that are similar size to Pluto dwarf planets, and then we kept the 8 really large solar system bodies that are special as planets. Here's a size comparison of Pluto with some other dwarf planets in our solar system. And as you can see, while Pluto is larger than some, it's not even the largest dwarf planet. We got Eris over here. So yeah, these are the dwarf planets. Some of them, like Sirius, are actually classified as asteroids as well as dwarf planets. All right, so our objective today, I can define solar system and distinguish celestial objects. So first we have solar system, and we talked about that before. It's just any object that revolves around 1 or 2 stars. In our case, we have 1 star, which is the sun. So any object that orbits around the sun is included in our solar system, whether that's a planet or an asteroid or a dwarf planet or a comet. Those things are all included as part of our solar system. Now, any object in space is called a celestial object. So we mentioned them. We got comets, asteroids, meteors, planets, moons, and stars. These are all celestial objects because they're objects that are in space. So the first celestial object that we're going to talk about today is a comet. And a comet is like a cosmic snowball because it's made of frozen gases and ice. It's a rock with a bunch of ice and gas all mixed together, and it comes from pretty far away, so it has a highly elliptical or stretched out orbit. And these orbits can last hundreds of years, up to I think 1,000 years. And their orbit is so long because they come from really far away. As you can see here, a comet can orbit in a highly irregular shape and usually come from far away places, much further than the orbits of planets. Comets are often identified by their tail. As they get closer to the sun, the gases heat up, and the solar wind, the energy from the sun is shooting out and pushing out. So the tail actually always goes the opposite direction of the sun. As it gets closer to the sun, the comet grows that tail because it's heating up, and the tail will always extend away from the sun. Now, scientists believe that comets come from the Oort cloud, which is this huge sphere of frozen objects surrounding our solar system. And every once in a while, the objects will bump into each other and send a comet on its course to orbit the sun. All right, so the second celestial object we're going to talk about are asteroids. Asteroids, kind of like comets because they're big rocks in space, but unlike comets, asteroids are largely not frozen. They're just large rocks in our solar system that revolve around the sun. Now, a lot of the asteroids are in the asteroid belt, which is this huge region in between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. You can see over here, here's Mars, here's Jupiter, and all of these purple objects in the middle are asteroids. So there's really thousands of them. And asteroids are famous because people talk about them hitting Earth every once in a while. We know that asteroids have hit our planet in the past, and they can cause a lot of damage. Well, it's possible that one of these asteroids could hit Earth again. There's many that cross the orbit of Earth. And, scientists track the location of asteroids because it could be a real safety concern. So asteroids have shorter orbits than comets. That just means they're closer to the sun. They don't come from as far away as comets, so they have shorter revolutions. And like I said, there's thousands of asteroids out there that we know about orbiting the sun. Alright, the last celestial object we'll talk about are meteors, which are also known as shooting stars. And a meteor is any object that enters Earth's atmosphere. And as they enter Earth's atmosphere, traveling through space, they slow down when they hit the air in our atmosphere. And that causes a lot of friction, so it looks like they're burning up. And so that's what causes the streak in the sky, and that's why people call them shooting stars. Right, they burn up from the friction with the air, like I said. And interestingly, it's estimated that 25 million meteors hit Earth's atmosphere every single day, but most are too small to notice. And what that adds up to is about 15,000 tons of space debris every year entering the Earth from meteors. But again, mostly that's just tiny little rocks that end up as dust that just kind of drift down to Earth's surface. At this point, I also want to add that asteroids could be meteors by definition if the asteroid entered Earth's atmosphere. So the asteroid that killed off the dinosaurs was also a meteor because it did enter our atmosphere. All right, so just to quickly summarize, we got asteroids, which are huge rocks in space. We got comets, which are icy rocks in space that come from really far away that grow tails as they get closer to the sun. And then we have meteors, which are any objects that enter Earth's atmosphere. All right, guys, that's it for me, and I'll see you next time.